they missed one. She was saying it was something that was so easy peasy.
Chamber banquet tickets.
Something that everyone was there. And I said, she did say in our text that she had a case of it's time for me. Local tickets. It's time for me. Steve will be here in a minute. Okay, wait. That clock is off from my computer. I saw 6:40 on the minutes right
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think Ricky is? The time is now 6:40, and I'll call the Parks and Recreation Committee meeting to order. The first item is discussion of the purchase of a Skag mower.
Yes, thank you. So Cody Smart, our facility maintenance manager, has done inventory on our mowers, and we do have an older mower that's got a lot of hours on it. Trying to replace it for this upcoming mowing season. In our last budget amendment, I confirmed with Ms. Samantha that there was a $12,000 budgeted for a new mower. We have gone out to Scotty Keel's at Lawn and Garden, and they have a Skag Turf Tiger 61-inch 40 horsepower mower for $14,624. Again, we budgeted. There was a budget amendment there for $12,000 for that mower. I can find the remainder of that in my budget, the other $2,624 to purchase that mower.
Because once this cold snap is over, mowing season will be here in just a minute.
It will begin.
Yeah. Any questions for Justin about the mower?
Is that replacing a mower?
It will be, yes. It will be replacing a mower.
Is it done?
It's close. It's
done.
rattling, and according to Cody, it's got a lot of hours on it. We just don't know if it would make it through this upcoming season, so it's time to look at replacing it. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make the motion that we recommend it to the full board.
Okay, do we have to recommend it to the full board at that
Okay.
cost? No, it can be within committee.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Take that back and we will,
okay,
Make a
I have a
motion to
motion and I'll second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye, so the motion passes. Now our next item on our Parks and Rec is to hear from Jordan, our tourism marketing manager.
Hi everyone. This is a project that we've been working on for probably about 7 or 8 months now. We had contracted with a gentleman by the name of Bob Richards, who's well known as the foremost trail builder in Tennessee, to start looking at the Big Bee River Trail. So it's a wonderful trail that was volunteer built, but it's in a position where it just really needs some TLC and needs some professionals to come in and assess it and improve it. So Bob Richards had come in, he had provided us with his feedback on precisely what needed to occur on that trail as far as maintenance and safety concerns. And with all of that information in hand, we found the Recreational Trails Program grant, which is a federal grant. It's administered at the state level, very specifically for trail development or land acquisition for trail development. So it fits very, very well into this grant. The goal of the project would be to take that entire trail, right now it's at about 18 to 24 inches, widen it to 36 to 42 inches so that it could be a shared use trail for both walking as well as beginner mountain biking. We'd improve the Rocket Park trailhead, so that would actually become a trailhead with proper parking, proper signage, put proper signage along the trail as you were to go along it, work on Sally's Alley parking, and then finally at Hobbs, put in some parking at Hobbs, and then also a modular beginner mountain biking park there. So all of that, we're to Bob to budget it out to $125,000. Through this grant, it's an 80-20, so the federal government would put in $100,000. We'd need to come to the table with 20%, which is $25,000, but It does not need to be a cash match, so we worked it out that we can use labor through Cody Smart's new department at facilities, as well as equipment usage out of Public Works. And we can meet that entire match with force account. So this request is just to move to the full board for authorization to apply for this grant.
Okay. I've recently been down there to walk. Such a neat trail, but it needs so much work.
It has so much potential,
It really
but
does.
it just needs some TLC.
I would like to make a motion to recommend this to the full board.
Okay, I'll second that motion. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jordan. Is there any other business for the Parks and Recreation Committee? Meeting adjourned.
Quite a ways, yeah. Usually, I think most of them, it's kind of disconnected.
But because
It's, there were walls put in
this and they're explaining it,
for
they had 20
steps, but it's not easy. It's a little technical. You use your hands on it. Basically, go out and place yourself.
One minute off of there, so. One minute. I'm gonna call it 6:50. It's 6:50 and I'm gonna call the Streets and Sanitation Committee meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is requesting the purchase of the routerware software, for $37,093.20.
Yes, so this is a new software for sanitation. It should help us track our routes, help optimize our routes where we get garbage, get them done faster, save money on fuel, so we're not, it'll tell us with AI, what should our route look like. So we put in our addresses or what our route is, and then it'll spit out, this is how you optimize it and pick up all the cans that you need to pick up. And on top of that, it will help with our billing, it will help with budgeting, and it will help keep track of all of our tonnages. So right now, we keep our tonnages for reporting to TDEC and others handwritten, and some spreadsheets on Excel. But this will actually keep it really detailed for us and really tighten it. So when we submit reports, annual reports and quarterly reports, this will help us out tremendously with the software. And if we like it, we want to go further, there's some other options where they'll give us an app for our citizens, and we can notify them when garbage is running behind, or holiday garbage, when will we be out there picking it up, when's your brush route, things like that, and continue keeping people updated. So this is just kind of the basic, and if we really liked it and wanted to pursue something more, it gives us the ability to.
So is that a one-time cost, or are there?
So the one-time cost is $13,000 is the one-time cost. The recurring expense is €24,000.
Well, it says you have budgeted how much?
We budgeted $20,000 for it. They recently did an increase to their rate as of January 1st. We saved money on the garbage trucks, saved $50,000 to $60,000 on the garbage trucks. So we thought we could absorb the $17,000 since we saved so much on the garbage trucks.
Oh, that's interesting.
So which budget does this one actually come in?
Sanitation.
Sanitation.
It's all sanitation.
It's all
Yeah.
sanitation.
Not general fund or anything like that.
So are you gonna run this? Who's gonna run this? Is it something you do all the time? Is
Yeah,
it-
it's constantly running. The drivers will have iPads in their trucks, and let's say they can't get a garbage, they'll be able to punch it in and say, car is blocking the garbage, and it'll send a notification to the homeowner and let them know we couldn't get it. That way they can reach out to us in time, and we can go back and make sure we can get it for them. So it'll be pretty nice for the customer as well.
Can the homeowner submit a request as
Yeah.
well?
So the
it goes
homeowner will be able to
both
submit a
ways.
request if your lid's broken or your can's broken or anything like that. They'll be able to submit a request as well.
What if you forgot to take your garbage can out?
You can. If you forget, you can let us know and we can make sure to get it.
Is there any questions from anybody on the board?
I'll make a motion to accept. Send it to the full board.
I have a motion. Steve is absent. I'll second this. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. The motion carries.
Thank you.
If there's no further discussion or issues for this committee, we'll call it adjourned.
Steve Harvey is absent. Rachel Kirby,
Here.
Carrie Morton,
Here.
Kara Youngblood,
Here.
Mayor Chastain.
Present. Item 2 is the consent agenda that includes minutes from the February 10th regular session. If there are no requests for additions, corrections, or deletions, I'll entertain a motion to approve that agenda as read.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Deidre Dunlap.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sally Brock. Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Item 3 is recognition of visitors. If anyone wishes to address the board this evening, step to the podium and state your name for the record. And sign in.
Raven Young. I know that tonight is a big discussion night, and so I will keep my comments quick. But I did a little bit more research today, especially after the information was shared from board meeting 2 weeks ago about the stormwater fees and utilities that are being proposed. And I was a little surprised to learn that the city government, county government, state government, all of those properties would be eligible also and required to pay the fee of the stormwater. So I got on Property Viewer and did some quick math of city properties as well as some county properties, schools, things of that nature. And I came up with, these are approximate numbers because it's obviously not going out and measuring everything. But around $33,000 a year would be the fee for stormwater management just from the city. So one of my questions is, where is that money coming from? If we can afford $33,000 a year to go into this, to go into stormwater management, why do we even have to have this fee added to constituents as well? I also looked at the county office, was around $3,000 a year just for their office on Locust Street. And then all of the 5 schools in the city limits for middle school, high school, Bobby Ray, West Elementary, Hickory Creek came down around to $40,000 a year from school property. So there's a lot of fees that I'm just concerned. If we have that money already in our budgets, then why do we need it already? Or if we don't have that money in our budgets, then where is it going to be coming from later on down the road? We're getting fees for stormwater, but are we also then going to get higher taxes later on to pay for some of these things from where the government is having to pay? So those are just some thoughts that I have had. I am obviously opposed to this fee being added to the stormwater, but I just wanted to speak on that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Casey Hartwood. I'll echo that a little bit. I did a little research, and based on the numbers provided, it looks like residential will be paying a little under $10,000 a month based on the numbers of residential units. And then commercial properties where it really gets into additional fees here with the formula provided. I roughly estimated the top 30 or so largest commercial industrial properties with the most impervious cover. You're looking at $20,000 a month just in commercial, double what the just with those 30 properties. And then you add another roughly 5 million square feet to cover the rest, and that's $27,000 a month just in commercial industrial type properties. Total with residential, $37,000 a month, $440,000 a year for the stormwater fee. Just seems to disproportionately be unfair to commercial and industrial landowners. The fee lacks a published credit policy, and without that, it's really hard to assess how those commercial industrial type properties can benefit from certain types of activities to reduce their fee. And that $3 rate for the ERU, it's not tied to a published project list or a cost basis. Like, where did it come from? And it just feels like the city residents are kind of getting punished for the city's own deferred maintenance on infrastructure. So, thank you.
I'm Scott Kelly, Commissioner District 5 here. So do we have a number on how many storm drain issues we have in the city limits, first of all? And second of all, why can't we have the existing water department handle those storm drain issues? To me, they've already got the equipment, they already have the employees, and they got the excavator, the backhoe, dump truck, whatever they need to do that. And so I don't know why they couldn't just do that also in the city. Because there's a lot of residents in the city that do not deal with a storm drain issue. So why make those citizens and those businesses pay for a service that they will never use? So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. If there's no further comment, we'll move on to item 4, petitions. There are none. Item 5 is discussion items. Item 5A is a request for the waiver of fees for the class of 2026 project graduation evening that will be held on May 15th, 2026. The rec centers waive these fees for project graduation for as long as I can remember. So I will entertain a motion to approve their letter.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Carrie Morton, a second by Ms. Sally Brock. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Item 5B is to discuss report from the MES debt obligation to the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury.
It's just a discussion, I don't have any business
Okay.
to discuss.
So what is going on with this is MES has borrowed some money to begin construction on a new substation. As the municipality where MES resides, the city has to sign off on that debt obligation. So I do want to make a statement about that. This bond issue is only for McMinnville Electric System. It does not involve city taxes, nor does it affect water, police, fire, roads, or any other city service. While MES does have a relationship with the city, being the utility inside the city limits, it operates as its own separate entity, collects electric bills, and pays its own expenses based on the amount of electricity they sell to their customers. These bonds will be repaid only by the electric utility and will not affect property taxes or the city's finances or general fund in any way. The reason the city is involved is because per Tennessee Code Annotated Title 7, Chapter 34, Section 101 requires the municipality in which the utility resides to be the legal issuer of those revenue bonds. MES cannot back or cannot issue debt on its own, so the city authorizes the bonds, but McMinnville Electric will be responsible for paying back the money. So in short, this is infrastructure financing for MES to help supplement our existing power grid. And just again, for the record, this does not affect the city's finances, does not go to the taxpayers for property taxes or anything like that. So I just needed to make that statement. But if there are any questions about that, I don't mind to entertain those. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to action items. Item 6A is resolution Number 2026-19, a resolution of the City of McMinnville authorizing AEI architects and planners to proceed with the design, development, and construction documents needed for police station projects pursuant to Resolution Number 2077 and Resolution Number 2025-08, consisting of new construction at the previously approved site shown in the attached site plan, and authorizing the city administrator to execute necessary documents, making this resolution effective. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Sally Brock,
Second.
second by Ms. Kara. I'm joking. And do we have any discussion, questions? So again, this was discussed at our last meeting. This does not mean that the city is going out right now and building a new police station. We have to have official architectural schematics drawn for us to send out to bid for financing and things of that nature. So when we get those documents back, we'll know, or actually, once we get the documents back and those go out to bid, then we will know a concrete price and what we're looking at. But the city is not obligated by this vote tonight to go with any bid. So having said that, any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brock,
Yes.
Deidre Dunlap,
Aye.
Rachel Kirby,
Yes.
Carrie Morton,
Yes.
Carol Youngblood,
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
Aye, motion passes. Item 6B is ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance of the City of McMinnville to establish function of the utility, to create a special revenue fund and method for funding the utility, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance. This is the first reading. We also just have to have a first and a second to open this up for discussion.
No.
Wait, what?
It's the second
It's
reading.
the second reading.
Oh, I apologize.
He skipped. You're right there.
That's the police department that we just did.
It's 2026-01.
Item B.
Adopt the revised Chapter 7 in its entirety to
Must be
express.
missing a page.
Here, I'm sorry.
Ordinance number 2026-01, an ordinance of the City of McMinnville to repeal and replace Chapter 7, Title 16 of the McMinnville Municipal Code entitled Stormwater Management, and to adopt a revised Chapter 7 in its entirety, and to express the time when the ordinance shall become effective. This is the second reading.
I want to move to table that ordinance right now. There is still language in that is very, it's kind of all over the map on some things. I have highlighted a ton of things in through here. We tried to pull that apart and send that here, getting some of that language out of there until I would really like council and Lyndon in the same room to go through that as we go through it. This is a very, very long document, and it's gonna be easier to know exactly what we're doing as we go through it than it is to try to go back and figure something out after the fact. So, that's my motion.
Could
Okay.
I ask a question of this?
Yeah.
You said that we pulled it apart.
We ask that some of the language be taken out of it because it reads as we've already passed or the next ordinance under it. It still reads that we already have a utility fee in there. That's how it reads. So it's kind of like passing something and then going back and saying, here we are. So there's language in it. I've got lots of things that are highlighted, and I just think it's a very long document until everybody knows exactly what's in it.
Are there any objections by the board?
Lyndon, can
Yeah.
Lyndon speak?
Yes.
Can you give me some examples? of
Yeah,
what-
do you want me to go through every page of this?
No, just a couple.
Oh, no. I want to go through every page of it.
Right now?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I would
mean, I'm fine with it.
I would rather table this
Okay.
so we can go through this and have council go through every line in it it still reads about a utility fee, it still reads about a stormwater manager. We do not have anybody that, quote, has that title at this moment. And I think if we just, we need to get, we need to do one, and then we need to read through this again, or at least I do. And it's, like I said, it's, I don't know, 30-something pages.
Okay.
So, that's my motion.
Any objections by any other board members? Hearing none, we'll just defer that item to a meeting at a later date.
Thank you.
So this is item C.
When does that need to be passed? Isn't there a time frame on that?
Okay.
There is, but it's fine to table it. We can wait. That's okay.
So item 6C is ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance of the city of McMinnville to establish the function of the water utility or stormwater utility and create a special revenue fund and method for funding the utility and to fix the effective date for this ordinance. This is the first reading. Is there a motion to open for discussion?
I make a motion to open for discussion.
Have a motion by Ms. Youngblood,
Second.
second by Ms. Sally Brock. I'll start off because I know that there were a lot of questions last time about what this is for. Obviously, for quite some time, there have been concerns, growing concerns as McMinnville grows and develop about stormwater runoff from impervious surfaces, roofs, driveways, parking lots, and things of that nature. And right now, we do have, I think, 6 hotspots that have been located throughout the city limits, a couple of which we're working on. I think there's 4 more that obviously need some improvements. So essentially, the idea is being floated to create a utility, not a new department in and of itself. It would still fall under the existing Public Works Department, but that would be dedicated solely to the management of stormwater projects, grant writing, digging ditches, culverts, installing, all the things of that nature. So that, in a nutshell, is the idea behind that. I did want to address some things that have been passed along to me. I've gotten screenshots from social media. I've seen some things myself, fielded some phone calls. And one thing was about lack of transparency about this project. And some people feeling that this was put on the citizens abruptly with no warning. This has been discussed by the city for almost a year. Back on March the 20th of last year, MTAS, the Municipal Technical Advisory Service, came and did a presentation about stormwater management, implementing utilities. So we had that, and then on May 28th, Public Works had a public committee meeting. On June 27th through July 11th of last year, there was a public input survey that went out. There were only, I believe, 83 responses, which from a statistical standpoint is not very significant given how many people live in the city. But there were 35 respondents that said that they were in favor of such a project, 38 said no, and 10 more stated that they need more info. So why there were so few responses, I'm not sure, and I can't answer that. Another question that was brought to me was, why was there a public hearing but no answers to questions given by the board? Robert's Rules of Order, as well as Tennessee State Code Annotated, stipulates that public comment is for governing bodies to receive comment from the public, but not to engage in open dialogue. So that's an answer for that question. Having said that, I have not received input from a single person in the city that is in favor of this. So as such, I can't support and won't support starting this utility. So if there's any other comments or...
Well, I have one because it came to my attention looking through some old Facebook things that In 2022, Nolan received an award for stormwater excellence in stormwater management, and that was in 2022. So I think, you send that down if you want to, if you guys want to see it. If we got something then in 2022, I think we are good enough to be able to sit down in a room and go through these things that are problems, the places that are problematic, and figure out where we can put some money in the budget to start fixing those. I appreciate, Lyndon, your work. I appreciate the grants you've got. The stormwater utility in itself could do the same things. It can get grants, just like our body can get, the general fund can apply for grants. So I appreciate what you said, Mayor, and I would not support this myself.
While I've been sitting on this board for the past year and a half, and I know for longer than that, the board has received repeated complaints from residents about runoff, drainage failures, and flooding concerns. Nearly every subdivision application that's come in front of us has been met with objections rooted in stormwater impacts. We have acknowledged those concerns publicly, and we've stated that we would take action. Under Federal Clean Water Act, 33 U.S.C. Section 1251, and specifically under Section 42P, municipalities operating a municipal separate storm sewer system, an MS4, are required to regulate stormwater discharge and implement management programs. Tennessee law and other states implemented a similar law as to TCA 68-221-1101. Expressly authorizing municipalities to establish stormwater utilities, regulate discharge, and review development plans, and fix and require payment of fees to fund such compliance. There have been people not only visiting us at our board meetings, airing their concerns to the board, but people on this board alike who have aired the same grievances about how stormwater has impacted them personally and at their businesses. Despite those complaints, nothing besides this proposed ordinance has been proposed to fix the issue. This is the first structured, legally authorized funding mechanism brought before us to fulfill both our federal obligations and the commitments that we have made to our citizens. If we are serious about addressing runoff and protecting property, we must provide the tools and funding necessary to do so. Addressing stormwater through the general fund is neither sustainable nor equitable. The Federal Clean Water Act, 33 U.S.C. 1251, and specifically Section 402P, requires municipalities operating an MS4 to implement and document a stormwater management program. It expressly authorizes municipality, TCA 68-221-1101 expressly authorizes municipalities to create a stormwater utility and fix and require payments of fees to fund that system. A utility structure ensures that the cost of managing runoff is tied to impact, particularly impervious surface area, rather than shifting the burden broadly onto property taxpayers regardless of their contribution. Funding through the general fund would compete directly with police, fire, streets, and other core services, and it provides no dedicated or protected revenue stream for compliance. A separate stormwater fund ensures transparency, accountability, annual cost analysis, and a stable funding mechanism to meet a federally mandated obligation. If we are serious about addressing runoff and protecting residents from flooding, we need a dedicated structure designed for that purpose, not a patchwork approach, which is the way that we've been doing this for the last 40 years at least.
Any further questions, discussion?
Some of those codes, the Water Quality Act was of 1977, and then another one was of 1987.
And then it was updated and applied specifically to small municipalities in 2000, early 2000s. And it has particularly gotten more, it's gotten harder to comply with as the years have passed.
the verbiage say that we're required
Absolutely.
to have the utility, or we?
Not to have the utility. So the federal law states that we are required to comply with MS4.
Mhm.
The states, multiple states, including the state of Tennessee, in response to that, understanding that the federal government was requiring us to comply, but not giving us any source of revenue to do so, passed TCA 68-221-1101, which expressly authorizes municipalities to establish stormwater utilities, regulate discharge, review development plans, and fix and require payments of fees to fund that compliance. And they did that in response to understanding that they didn't want the burden to go to the general fund, to taxpayers generally. It needed to come from a system that took into account who was contributing to it, which is people with impervious surfaces, which is why we take that into account.
Does it say states must or a state may?
May.
No. And the federal law says that we must comply
But the TCA law
with
said-
MS4. In response to that, the state says that we may implement this type of structure. That's why there's no other option. That's why no one's been able to come up with a different option to fund this, because this structure allows for us to focus in on the people who have impervious surfaces who are adding to the runoff. Whereas if you just did it with the general fund, it's broadcasting a too large of a net, and therefore
That's the word.
taxpayers are all equally responsible for it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, we need a solution, but
But
if,
this is the only solution, because you can't get it out of the general fund because it doesn't narrow it and focus to the people that are actually contributing. That's the purpose of this.
I mean, I understand that 100%, but if the taxpayers and our constituents don't want it,
But here's
I'm
what.
not gonna force it.
Here's what happens. So whether we decide to enforce this or not and to comply, we have to comply under the federal government. So if we don't, either the EPA can come in and sanction us. Actually, private citizens can file lawsuits against us for not complying. And so we're opening ourselves up to lawsuits or sanctions, and several cities have had to do that. And it's more costly to go backwards and fix it and to deal with those sanctions than it is to be proactive and do what we're doing right now.
I mean, when you start doing codes,
Go ahead.
the US code, federal
I'm happy.
codes, the TCA codes, I mean, there's a lot of research behind those things. I would assume that.
Yeah, I mean, federal law always supersedes state law.
Yeah. But I just want to make sure that we're
Yeah.
clear. The federal law requires that we comply under MS4.
I understand what you're saying.
And state law says we can implement this type of funding.
Yes.
That's it.
I understand that. I just wonder what more there is to read on that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
haven't read that.
this has been an open conversation
Right.
for a year, so I mean,
I haven't read like the underlying case law and things.
Well, even with anything that I have read and tried to understand on this topic, I think just information that Raven has shared with us tonight, something I hadn't thought about is, if the city itself is going to be hit with $33,000 in fees for our city properties, I think we have to take things like that into consideration as well.
Churches,
Our schools, our county
Churches.
office.
One thing to keep in mind is that we currently allocate $50,000 to stormwater MS4 compliance. So
50?
we already,
10?
well, it has been 50. Is it 10 now?
It's 10.
Okay, sorry. So we allocate money traditionally to this, to comply with our MS4 requirements.
and we have budgets coming up. I just think that's where we need to start looking at some things myself.
the thing is, we have to comply, and we're not. So we need to,
Well, if we're allocating money to be in
$10,000.
compliance.
I think we comply.
we comply with MS for the general application and the fee that goes with it. But we need to continue to establish drainage systems, to review developmental plans, to create infrastructure generally to continue to comply with that, which is why we're here.
I mean, I guess at this point right now, all we've got to do is just put it to a vote. And as Morton said, budget cycle is coming up for review. You know, and I understand exactly where you're coming from, Ms. Youngblood, but the fact of the matter is, on my end, and I know several others, is that the citizens are adamantly opposed to this. So,
The thing that I've heard the most is that from people who have no problems at all with stormwater, feeling like, you know, why should I have
Well,
any?
Here's a contradiction to that. I've never called 911, but I still pay 911 fees on my cell phone. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things like that that some people may never use. You know, I pay county taxes that go to the EMS service, and I've never ridden in an ambulance before. So that can go both ways.
And the impervious surface is contributing to somebody else's stormwater issue.
Yeah.
So that's not a viable.
Yeah, I mean, all of that goes both ways. I mean, if you build a house, you may not have flooding problems, but you're contributing to it somewhere down the waterway. So it all goes both ways and has two sides.
I think that, and I hope that you all take into consideration that there are some people who are in opposition, but there are a lot of people that are not in opposition. And a lot of times we only get to hear the bad things and not the good things. And so people don't show up to support us when we're doing good things. And so we only hear from certain ones that do not feel that way. But I feel that this is the right thing to do for the city of McMinnville. It's something that hasn't been done, and we are feeling the effects of it 40, 50, 60 years later because no one has taken it into consideration. So.
All right, any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Sally Brock,
Yes.
Deidre Dunlap,
No.
Rachel Kirby,
Let me get back to radio. I think I'm a no.
Carrie Morton,
No.
Carrie Youngblood,
Yes.
Mayor Chastain.
No, motion fails. Item 7 is recognition of employees and departmental reports. If there are any department heads that wish to give any recognition or give reports, come on up.
Thank you. As part of the local Parks and Recreation Fund grant the city received for Rocket Park renovations, thanks to Public Works, we've removed some smaller pavilions this week. Along the drive between the new play structure, we're gonna install two 20 by 20 pavilions. The completion of those new pavilions is projected to be mid-May. Also, as part of the Broadband Ready grant, it's a grant we received to enhance broadband access. With this grant, our hope is to create a public Wi-Fi access points across our complex at the Milner Center. This project is now underway, so I wanted to thank Ben Lohman, Connect, and Scotty Lawson for their hard work on the improvement to our park. What this is going to do is give people Wi-Fi access at the skate park, the tennis court, the ball fields, anywhere on our complex there, free Wi-Fi. So we're really excited about that.
That's great.
Thank you.
I just want to thank the board for voting for us to move forward to actually get a bid, and I really appreciate the support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, Chief. Mr. Main, do you have anything?
The chamber banquet?
I gave those out.
Okay, that's the only thing I had.
Mr. Purtle? No, all right. If there's nothing else to come before the board, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you all.